get started.
All right. Hello, my name is Stacy Parks. I'm an advisor here at Week Tech,
And welcome to our presentation of Meredith College for our Fall 2021 Transfer Fair. We are welcoming Claire Jones, a Senior Admissions Counselor from Meredith College. So welcome, Claire, and take it away. Oh, and if there's any questions throughout the presentation, just add them to the question bubble with the question mark. So there you go, Claire.
Thank you, Stacy. Well, good afternoon. My name is Claire. I am one of the 3 admissions counselors at Meredith who work with transfer students. So more than likely, if you are transferring to Meredith, you're either going to work with me, Jordan Richards, or our Director of Admissions, Sherry Boyles. So I have our contact information at the end of this slide, but we are very excited to work with you. I've just got some information about Meredith. I'm going to share just a little bit about us, and then I'll go into the application process and scholarships and things like that before we open it up to questions at the end. So I'm excited you're here, and let's get started. So a little bit about Meredith. So Meredith was founded in 1891, so a little under 130 years ago, in downtown Raleigh, right next to where the governor's mansion is now. We shortly moved to our location where we are today, which is right next to the state fairgrounds, kind of 10 minutes away from downtown Raleigh. When we were founded, we had a student body of a little under 200 women, and now we have a student body of a little under 2,000 women at the undergraduate level. We are a women's college at the undergraduate level, but we do have co-ed programs at the graduate level. So we have 5 different graduate programs, and I'm happy to talk a little bit about more of those if you have any questions. At Meredith, we are known for a lot of things, but a lot of times students come to us because they have heard great things from our alums. So whether that's our 22,000 active alums that are all over the world who connect with our current students, and even our prospective students, most of the time you hear about their great experiences, and then that makes you want to check out Meredith as well. So in addition to the great reviews from our alums, Meredith has been rated by a number of different resources as a top college. So Forbes ranks us as one of the top colleges in the top 20% of all colleges nationwide. The Princeton Review has us as one of the best colleges in the Southeast, and U.S. News and World Report has us as a top tier college. I think there's a lot of things that go into those rankings, and I'm going to kind of highlight those as I just tell you more about Meredith. So at Meredith, we offer over 90 different majors and minors and concentrations for you to choose from. And in all of those programs, we try to achieve the highest level of accreditation that is available in those programs and have that in a lot of our programs. So I always use our business school, for example. We are AACSB accredited. That is the gold standard of accreditations for business schools. And we are one of 2 women's colleges in the world that has that level of accreditation. So we're very proud of that. But in a lot of other areas like interior design, social work, education, music, food and nutrition, we have that same high level of accreditation. And so all that means for you as a student is that you're getting the best classroom experience that is available. It has very high standards, and we aim for those standards every time. I think a lot of what goes into meeting those standards is our faculty members and the relationship they have with our students. So we have an 11-to-1 student to faculty ratio. That just means that for every faculty member, they're responsible for typically about 11 students. You are assigned a faculty advisor within your major of choice. And so they are there to help you kind of plan out your time at Meredith. They can help you with internships or job opportunities. They're just really there as a resource to you, and it's in your major of choice. So if you double major, you have 2 faculty members, or if you change majors, you're always going to have a faculty member that's there to help you in your major of choice. And they really can manage this because we are a smaller school. And that definitely helps create a sense of community just by getting to know each other in that sort of smaller environment. But also, since our average class size is about 15 students per class, you're really getting to know the people around you as well. I think that combined with our sort of diverse group of students, about 30% of our students identify as multicultural students, really help create a strong community. And I think that that's really what a lot of students enjoy about their experience at Meredith. Yes, you're getting this top academic experience, but the people you meet and the friendships you make are definitely a big asset of your time at Meredith as well. And then I'm definitely going to talk about this later, but about 95% of our students receive scholarships at the time of admission, and I'm going to go over the scholarship amounts, the process, things like that towards the end. And so at Meredith, we really do everything to be personalized to you. So like I said, we have over 90 different majors and minors for you to choose from, and it's really up to you. It's your choice. But one of those options is creating your own major. So maybe you are exploring a minor and you really enjoy it and you want to make it into a major, a full major, and that's what you want your degree in. You work with your faculty member to make that possible. And so really, if you have a specific request or just an interest you want to explore, that's what we are here to help you with. That's why you're paired with a faculty member so they can help you kind of make those dreams a reality. But we do that for every student. So it really is personalized to each individual student. You definitely do that through your faculty relationships and the advising that comes through that. So you have to meet with your advisor every semester. They help you stay on track. But again, it just helps you build those relationships that are a key part of the Meredith experience. And this is my favorite thing to talk about when you think about college, is that sort of outside of the classroom learning experiences. This is definitely something that our faculty helps you kind of explore, whether that is an internship. So some of our majors require an internship. The other majors just recommend an internship. The same for study abroad. Sometimes it's required. We want you to have some global experience, but sometimes it is just totally optional if that is up to you. We also have plenty of opportunities for research if that is something you are interested in, as well as just community-based learning or service learning experiences. So out of all of these sort of hands-on learning experience options, about 95 or 97% of our students will complete one or more of those experiences. So it's really up to you. If you want to do every single one of these experiences, we can make room in your schedule for that, but it's just another way for you to explore your interest. And then another aspect of college that's sort of outside of the academic realm are the activities that you get to participate in. So we have over 100 different clubs and organizations on campus, academic based. So almost every academic major has their own club. We have service-based clubs. We just have kind of clubs that are, based off your hobbies and different activities that you have an interest you can explore, but it's just with a group of people on campus. So we have several options there for you to explore. We also have 10 Division III sports. I think Division III is great because you really get a true balance of a student athlete college experience. You get to still play the competitive sport you love, but you still get to enjoy your college experience. So if you're interested in a sport, I'm happy to connect you to one of our coaches. And at Meredith, we're also known really for our unique traditions, whether that is Cornhuskin in the fall or our class ring that you can spot nearly everywhere. Our traditions are definitely a unique part of campus life, and I'm happy to talk more about those, but I always like connecting you to a current student who's living and breathing those activities, and they can give you a better example of that too. And then we also have a lot of sort of ways to explore your artistic side. If you maybe play an instrument, but you don't want to be a music major, you just want to continue playing, we have several different ways for you to explore that. The same for dance or art in general. You do not have to be a major to participate in those activities. DanceWorks is actually one of our biggest student-led and organized events, and it is an entire weekend full of dance performances that is completely run by students, and they're not all, I think usually it's about 50% are actually dance majors. Most are just students who enjoy that. So again, if there's an interest you want to explore, we're just here to help you figure out your options for that. And then what is another unique aspect of the Meredith experience is our Strong Points program. So Strong Points is our unique coaching and advising model that is based around your individual strengths. So if you don't hear me say it enough, we personalize everything here at Meredith to you and your experiences, but to also your strengths and to help you explore that. So you literally take an assessment to find out what your top 5 strengths are. You do that before you register for your first semester's worth of classes. We tell you what your top 5 strengths are. You get to explore those through our strengths lab, and then we help you apply it to 4 different areas of your Meredith experience. So definitely in your academic interest, whether that is determining which major you would like, or maybe determining something within your major, how can you best use your strengths within your major? The same for your career goals. So helping you find, what is going to be a great fit for you career-wise. Maybe you have, a very specific goal, but you want to find out how you're going to best be used in that area. Your strengths can really help you figure those things out. We also apply it to those experiential learning options like internships, study abroad, things like that. And then lastly, we always try to build in a financial literacy component. So throughout your entire programming at Meredith, you do get these financial literacy skills. That's something that's just important to our college president. She really wants our students to be prepared. You're going to be an expert in whatever academic field that you choose. But we also want you to have those sort of life skills that, everyone just expects you to know, but doesn't actually teach you. So you go over those types of skills. We have several different workshops or things that you can attend throughout your time at Meredith, so you have those skills covered. But our Strong Points program is something that everyone on campus uses and has the resource to. So what's also great about that is everyone on campus knows what their strengths are. So your professors know, your classmates know, and you're really each able to use that to your advantage in all of your sort of activities that you do. And you know this from being local, but Raleigh is just really a great place to be. So our campus here in Raleigh is, like I said, right near the state fairgrounds. So it's a busy type of year for us with the state fair. But we have a 225-acre campus that is very green and lush and feels just like a park. So even though we're close to everything, you really kind of can escape for a little while just while you're walking to classes. You truly get to see all 4 seasons on our campus, or as much as North Carolina, allows us to see of seasons. You're minutes from downtown, but the biggest aspect is being close to all of those internships, job options, and research opportunities, which really help you build it into your schedule. So the biggest asset our students say is that not only are there a lot of options for internships or jobs, but you can easily weave them into your class schedule versus sometimes it's harder, if you have to take a big chunk out of your day to get to your internship, that's one less thing, or maybe you can't choose that option. We really want you to pick the options to explore your interests that are what works best for you, and our location really helps us with that. But also, like I said, Raleigh's a great place to be. We're the best place to live, and we're a great place for jobs. About 93% of our students at Meredith either have a job or have started graduate school in a few short months after graduation, and a lot of times those opportunities stem directly from their internships. And so our location definitely plays a big part in that. So now that you've heard a little bit about Meredith, I'm going to go over the application process, which also kind of leads straight into the scholarship and financial aid process as well. So when you're ready to apply to Meredith, you have 2 different options. You can apply to start in the spring, which would be a January start date, or you can apply to start in the fall, which would be an August start date. I've listed on the table here the application deadlines and timelines and things like that. All of this is also on our website, so don't fear if you don't memorize this or take notes. It's easily available to you. We have 3 different application resources so you can apply to Meredith through our own Meredith application. We're also on the Common application, and we have a sort of paper application if that's easier. But you have several options. They all require the same things and follow the same timeline. But if you apply, I'll start with spring since that's the closest to where we are now. If you have your application submitted and all the materials are received by November 1st, that's our preferred deadline, we typically can get you a admissions decision within 2 weeks. It takes time to process, but we can easily get you a decision within those 2 weeks, which then just speeds up the process to get you started on financial aid. So again, you'll get your admissions decision, and then typically 2 weeks after that, you'll get your financial aid package, which gives you plenty of time to review that, meet with your financial aid counselor, and then you'll be able to make a decision by December 1st. I personally think the spring timeline works really well for students that want to go ahead and get started in January. You still get the same resources of orientation and student advisors and things like that once you start that you do in a typical fall start. But that timeline just seems shorter just because if you submit it by November 1st, you have to decide by December 1st. Because of that, sometimes fall works better for people. So for fall, it's the same process. You just submit your application by February 15th. We'll get you a decision in about 2 weeks. And then you'll receive your aid package typically in the mail and electronically after March 15th, which ends up being about 2 weeks after you've received your application or admissions decision. And then you have all the way until June 15th to make a decision. So you're ready to start in August. So that timeline does give you a little bit more flex time, but either option is going to work the exact same way. So I always just let you know, you can also, if you apply in the spring and that timeline doesn't work, you can roll it to the fall, but you can only roll your application once. And so reach out to me or any of the admissions counselors too if you have any specific questions about that. But on the application itself, like I said, you can find it on our website. It is going to include an essay. Our essay is really just asking two things. Tell us, something about yourself and tell us why you're interested in Meredith. What about the Meredith experience are you interested in, excites you, something you want to explore? And we do, read that application essay. I always tell that because people sometimes don't trust me. So we read your application essay, and so that is a core part of the application itself. There is an application fee, a $40 application fee, but we have several different waiver options and they're all listed on your application as well. So usually students can find a fee waiver option on our list as well. And then we do need your transcripts. That's a main part of the application as well. Your transcripts from any of the schools you have previously attended. So definitely your Wake Tech transcript, but if you maybe attended a previous community college and you had some credits there, even if they show up on your Wake Tech transcript, we will need your original, that transcript from that other school. So transcripts from any of the schools that you have previously attended. When we receive your transcript, we send it to our registrar's office to do a credit evaluation. They look at the courses you've taken and sort of transfer over all of the ones that are going to come to Meredith and count for things. They put it into a list and then they tell you exactly how many courses are going to come over, what they count for, how many general education requirements are going to be covered. They give you all of that information at really as soon as you find out that you've been admitted. So you have all of that information ahead of time, and so you're able to take that into consideration when you are making your decision as well. So we give you that information ahead of time, but it starts as soon as we receive your transcripts. At Meredith, we do have an articulation agreement with all North Carolina community colleges that allows for you to kind of have all of your general education requirements waived if you are coming in with an Associate of Science degree or an Associate of Arts degree. But even if you have not completed your associates all of your community college credits from any North Carolina community college are going to come over to Meredith and count. So that is a good sort of guarantee that you can rely on when you're applying. And then we are going to ask for a school report. This, I personally think, is the easiest part of your application because someone else has to actually complete it. So you just have to send it to the registrar's office at the last school you attended, which should be Wake Tech. And then we do not require test scores. We're test optional in general because COVID has just made it nearly impossible to get test scores. But it might be a part of your application requirements if you are transferring to Meredith with less than 30 transferable hours. So if you have maybe only taken one semester's worth of courses at Wake Tech, you're not going to have 30 transferable credit hours. We would then ask for test scores if you had them. Except, and then there's always an exception, except for our Wings adult education students. So if you are transferring into Meredith, but if you are older than 23, you'd be in our Wings adult education program and do not need test scores. I feel like the application sounds like, oh, there's a lot of ifs in this, but we give you a checklist as soon as you submit, and you will know exactly what is needed and required for you to complete it. And it's up to date as soon as you submit items. So you're always aware of what is needed, but you also have us. You can always ask us any questions, specific questions about your application, or just items in general if you are getting ready to apply as well. And then the last item is our professor recommendations. We do not require these as part of your application, but we do. I think they're always a great asset if you have professors that you would, like to ask for a recommendation letter. Those just get added to your application as additional items, and we do review them if you have them, but they are not required. So do not feel like you have to submit them if you don't have them. And so, like I said in the timeline, as soon as you get an admissions decision, that really starts the financial aid process at Meredith. So all of our students, once they are admitted, if they qualify, which our students should qualify if they're admitted, for academic merit-based grants and scholarships. So you only have to submit your main application for admission, and we review that for admission and your merit-based scholarships as well. So it just saves you some time of submitting the same things over and over again. So you'll receive this first scholarship in your acceptance package. That scholarship amount ranges from $7,000 to $12,000 every year you're at Meredith. So that's renewable. You can count on that scholarship, which is why we give it to you at the time of admission. And then we also have a PTK scholarship. So if you are a PTK member currently, that will just kind of come with you to Meredith. You get that $5,000 scholarship. We just add it to any other scholarships that you've been awarded. You can always kind of signal in your application that you are a member of PTK, and that is a quick, an easy, scholarship to have if you're already a member of that. And then we always recommend for our students to submit the FAFSA just to create additional funding options. So if you submit the FAFSA, I always recommend just doing it at the time that you submit your application for admission. So if you want to submit it on November 1st, when you submit your application, that's great. It just kind of adds everything together, and then you don't have to, worry about sitting down and doing it at a later time. So that's always my recommendation. Also, just making sure you have it in by those priority deadlines. So November 1st for spring, February 15th for fall. It's a priority deadline, so we can add it later. I just always recommend doing it kind of when you submit everything at the same time, so we can go ahead and attach it to your financial aid letter. So that was, I feel like, a lot of information. So I have my contact information here, the general contact information for the entire Office of Admissions. Sometimes that's a great place to start. If you don't know exactly who your admissions counselor will be, you can always email the Office of Admissions. If you have any questions, I'm available to take those now. I think Stacy was going to facilitate those if those were coming in the comments, but that's it from me.
Thank you, Claire. That was great information. We don't have any questions currently, but I can ask you a couple of questions to get things rolling. So basically, one of the most prominent questions that we get from students is if they aren't planning on completing a full associate's degree, what's the minimum credit hours? I think you answered it was 24.
So we don't have a minimum requirement.
Oh, okay.
You can come in with, technically one course that you've taken. We recommend 30 credit hours, but that's just a recommendation, not a requirement.
Gotcha. And do you have a max amount of credit hours that can be transferred in?
We don't have a maximum. The only thing is when you complete your Meredith degree, 50% of your degree does have to come from Meredith itself. So if you were going to transfer in, I'll say, something 90 credit hours or something, then you would still need to complete, our degree requires 124 credits. You would still need to find 50% of those courses at Meredith. So if anything, you're just taking additional classes, but there's not a maximum that you could not bring over.
Gotcha. So do you, on your website, is it listed preferred transfer degrees for certain degrees, or because I know that we don't have, I don't think we necessarily have a formal agreement with you all, right? So is there somewhere where students can refer to what the preferred degree would be for certain majors, like for instance, a business degree? Typically at other institutions, the Associates in Arts is the preferred degree. Do you have that information readily available on your website?
Yes. So on our website, there's a transfer student tab on the admissions page of our website. And that will give you not only the preferred majors, but also the timelines for things. So each department at Meredith does not have necessarily a preferred major. I think it is just helpful sometimes if you are following the same, if you're already in business courses, then kind of following that same path. But it does give you a good timeline of how long it would take to complete the Meredith degree if you're already in these certain tracks.
Gotcha. Awesome. Sometimes we do have students that may not have been on a certain track and maybe didn't do so well in certain classes and then retake them, because we do have a grade replacement policy here at Wake Tech. And I'm just curious, a lot of students ask, what's that going to look like to the transfer institution? So let's say, for instance, a student took an English course and received a D in it, and they know that that's not transferable. And so they retake it and they get a B, and it brings their GPA up, and it completely, for us, it replaces the impact of that previous D. How does Meredith look at replacement courses like that?
Yeah, so that is always our sort of preferred route for you to take. And so when we review applications in general, we really look at your transcript to see what classes you've taken overall, kind of what was the trend of your grades, more than just singling out, good grades versus bad grades or passing or failing or things. We always tend to look for an upward trend in your grades. And that, I think, is the perfect example of an upward trend. Is if you took the class the first time and didn't do well and retook it, got a better grade. That in itself is a great sort of way to show us that you are a good student and improving and showing that sort of upward trend. So we typically prefer that instead of it maybe retaking the course or just kind of moving on to something else and and just accepting that. So we actually tend to like that on your transcript, is seeing those sort of retaking of courses that you didn't do so well in.
Gotcha. Thank you so much. Still haven't had any questions from the attendees come in yet, but what I did want to say for the attendees out there, we do have a survey that you can fill out. We're working on getting the link in the chat right now. If you fill out this survey to give some feedback to our presenters and the event as a whole, you could be eligible for a $25 gift card. So it's really important that you all fill that out so we can get some really great feedback. And we thank you so much, Claire, for doing this presentation today. Meredith is an institution that I personally didn't know a whole lot about. I'm still a newer advisor, so I've been enjoying all these university and college presentations because I'm learning so much about the institution. So I'm excited to know a little bit more about Meredith and be able to promote it to students that express interest in a very specific and personalized experience, as you put it. So it sounds like a great option for our students.
Good.
All right. Did you have anything to add or anything to your presentation, or any questions for us at Wake Tech?
That is it for me. I didn't have anything, but I'm thankful for the invitation and always happy to answer questions if anything ever comes up.
Great, awesome. We will point students in your direction, definitely. All right, we are all done for today, but we hope that you will continue to meet continue to see the presentations that are to come. Thank you so much, Claire.
Thank you.
Bye.